What is up? Welcome back to the channel. Now, today we are back on the 46 Dodge, okay? This guy still, like I said earlier in other videos, he likes to bring it by and kind of add something here, add something there. Doesn't want to keep the truck in here for so long because he still likes driving the truck. So today we're going to do a little bit more sheet metal work. If you remember from a previous video, if you look over here, that's the console I made for this truck also. We're going to get that kind of painted up. We're going to, let's just kind of show you guys what we're going to do, okay? Much easier just to show you versus sitting there trying to tell you everything. Anyways, inside here, well, it's got a bunch of wood. Not really sure the person that did this before why the whole wood thing was, but the owner says there's a battery under here. So somewhere under here, how do you lift it? There's a battery. This panel is all flimsy, floppity. And there's a big gaping hole because, well, all the lines for the batteries coming in there, and he's getting a lot of heat coming through the floor. So he wants to get rid of all of this stuff. All this wood's gonna go bye-bye. We're gonna kind of make some sheet metal panels for this, put some sort of design and structure into it as well with the bead roller. And then we're also going to be taking this dash and we're gonna kind of give it a little bit of upgrade. Get rid of those old gauges there, throw some digital ones, get rid of this wood here, and maybe make some sort of dash panel in there as well to hold those. That's undecided right now. We know we're getting rid of the wood. I'm just not sure what kind of design we're putting there just yet. All them little switches right here. We have switch here. We got two switches down here. Two more there. You got to flip all these switches on just to get this truck to start because, well, you know, other people. That's the problem. So I'm going to take all those switches out of there, get to just the key on, and hopefully kind of bring this thing into the modern age with, you know, turn the key, let's go. Let's not have a lot of heat up in our butt cheeks, and we'll kind of just clean all this stuff up to make it kind of look cool. So stick around, we'll get her done. All right, I have no clue how this wood is in there. It seems like it kind of is prying itself up. I see itself, I'm helping it kind of right there, but I know it looks like there's a bolt going through here. I don't know. There's a bunch of screws that looks like it's holding on to some sort of, I don't know, stringer going that way and that way. So I'm just going to take each one of these individual screws out. Plus breaking down the wood's easier to get thrown away. So unscrew all that stuff. Hopefully this thing comes out and we'll kind of see what's kind of under there because, well, I'm not really sure what's under there either. So we're both going to be surprised. Yep. Yeah. You know, drywall screws is like the best thing for wood and cars. Saying, pro tip of the day, drywall screws work for anything. If you believe that, I got an island I need to sell you guys too. Okay, so let's just let's not put any more drywall screws in cars. That's probably the best pro tip I can give you. Oh yeah, fancy. Oh. Well, oh man. Look. Something's making a home in there, and it makes me wonder how he's making a home in there. This thing is stored in his garage all the time. And why is it making it? Does he have like pet squirrels? Pet rats? I'm pretty sure it's a squirrel because I don't know that rats, you know, eat nuts or walnuts or acorns or, you know, whatever that is. Ooh, Well, this is probably why it's getting hot back there. There's a lighter under there. And, well, 2 lighters. That's probably why it was getting hot. But, hey, finders keepers, right? Get out of there. Yep. Maybe it is a mouse or a rat. Because that ain't squirrel poop. I'm maybe not a nut expert, but I am a poop expert, okay? And I promise, squirrel ain't pooping that. If it is, it's a really tiny squirrel. This mouse is gonna be so mad when he comes back and he can't get into his little home. Because it's all gonna be sealed up. Now you may be asking, why am I sweeping it? Because, just go get a vacuum and suck all that stuff up. Yep, that's probably going to be the easiest thing to do and probably the best thing I should be doing. However, this was theirs and it was back there, so I figured it's right here. Plus, we're going to kind of keep to the, the whole theme of this truck because this is what he used to paint this truck, okay? Kind of took this, spread it out, put some, brown, whites, tans, whatever he did. That was how he got this camouflage. So, now you know. Oh, okay. Got some MSD action in there too. And yes, that. The big hole. Lots of heat. Look, the exhaust pipes. No, yeah. Exhaust pipes right there. Right there. That's the frame. That's the exhaust pipe. Huh. Okay, interesting. That'll be fun. All right, well, I guess I'll get all this stuff taken out. And yeah, we'll go from there. All right, plan A kiboshed. No more. What I thought was going to be under here is not under here. Actually, there's more than what I thought was going to be under here. I did think there was going to be a battery, and that's under there. But I didn't know there was going to be MSD under there. Moving the battery back pretty much because it's just been, extend the alternator wire, power, and kind of find the ground back there. But it's not, okay? It's got everything. So I can either move the MSD to the firewall and the battery back, or put both of them back, or send both of them back. I don't want to send both of them back because there's too many wires to extend to that. But putting everything under the hood is not going to work because, well, she's tight, okay? We don't want to move the Ooga horn. That is like a must. Ain't touching the Ooga horn. That's going to stay. So I could put the MSD on that firewall, but I'm not. Only because it's just going to seem like it's going to be a whole lot more work to move all the wiring, find a new tray for the battery, cut a new hole back there in the bed, or make a tray of some sort, versus trying to fix or improve upon what I already have. Okay, so meaning make a panel for it, kind of put some Dynamat or some heat mat underneath of that so the heat stops coming through, make sure it's nice and secure, and put a sealer around the lip of everything, and kind of have an access door. Now, if I have an access door, that means that I've got to cut it. If I got to cut it, that means more vulnerable spots for heat to kind of seep through, and I don't want to do that either. So what I'm trying to say is I don't know what I'm doing just yet. I don't have a plan B, C, D, E, or F. So plan A is gone. I'm thinking about plan B as I'm talking to you. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, here's my game plan. I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing for the last, 15 years when I don't have a plan. And that's pretty much every build. just start building, okay? I'm going to start building as I kind of come through little hiccups or shortfalls. I'm just going to have to try to figure out how to work through those and then kind of keep building upon what I'm building. So, yeah, there's my plan. First step, plan of action, whatever. There's steps. First step, go ahead and get this panel made. That center console I built goes all the way to that wall. So the whole bottom is you can see, that is much longer than, what is this, 16 inches? Yep. Man, that was close. Than the 16 inches. So if I just put a panel straight across here, well, then the back of that kind of isn't supported. Yes, I think this is going to be plenty to support it. But why not just build that panel, notch it for that console, and then it'll be kind of like two cubbies. That'll go all the way up against the wall. There'll be its own little cubby behind this seat and its own little cubby behind that seat. It ain't blocking anything here because your motor mounts, that's not a motor, that's a cab mount. The cab mounts are on the left and right of the seat. So now we're going to go back to what I said 42 seconds ago. Let's get a measurement across. 50. Well, we knew this was 16, but we're going to have to cut the panel a little bit bigger, so we're going to go to 24. 24. Yeah, because the 16 is actually a quarter. It's actually 15 3/4. But if I do a 3/4 inch overhang, yeah, it's actually to 23 and 3/4. But let's do that extra quarter and make it an even number of 24. I think, actually, no, this piece is exactly my 50 inches. So, I believe it's a 48 by, ooh, she's a little brown. Let's go this way. For your viewing pleasure, we'll go this way and not the other. Height. $48, $50. So if you remember, we needed 50, a 24 in the middle, and 16 on the sides. So let me go ahead and mark center of this. Actually, 50 and 3/16. So we'll just go a little bit over it. There's 25. All right, so we know that's the center and the width of the center console. We're only going that 24 inches for that center console to have kind of a solid surface to kind of stick to, step down on top of. I mean, we know that's 24, and I'm going to go 6 inches wide. It's 5 inches in width, so we're just going to add a 1/2 inch on each side. So we're going to call that 6 inches, which off my center mark, we will go, come on, say it with me now, 3 and 3. Yep. 3 inches to the right, 3 inches to the left. Off my center makes it 6 inches. Now I'm just assuming that this is nice and square. So we'll take my triangle that makes the square, carry these up. Carry those up. And remember, we only had to go 24 inches on that, so we'll make a mark at 24. 24. Double check that 24, because I think that's like, yeah. Always, double check your measurements. I think I've heard that once or twice in my life. So, all right. There's the center. That's the piece that's going to go back. 16, right? I think we said 16. Pretty sure we said 16. If we didn't, we're going to do it anyways. 16, 16, 16. and 16. It's like, connecting the dots in kindergarten. You just make a bunch of marks and you connect these for, no reason whatsoever. You don't even know why you're doing it. You just start connecting dots and hope that it comes out the way you want it. Now, I understand these are all round on the front. If you remember what the little ledge looked like inside the truck, I will round those off later. Basically, I'll put this in the truck, kind of get a rough idea of where it's sitting. Then I'll go underneath and kind of draw it on there and cut them out. So let me go ahead and get this cut out here and get it in the truck. All right, got her clamped in. I actually want to keep a lip on there. Let's go see the other side. That sun's a little bright in your eyeballs. So, much better. I want to keep a lip. I want to keep about that. Oh, that looks crooked from this angle. Oh, yeah. Anyways, we'll square her up. I want to keep that lip on there, but I need to find the curve on here. So what I'll do is just draw the curve. And like so, if my marker's even marking it, who knows? Then I'll mark that side over there, and then just kind of bring out my measurements and bring the curve out, whatever my lip is. We can round that off. Then what I want to do is go, let's just start with the curvature first, okay? Because I may change things. Actually, what's in my head is get the curvature, then poke a bunch of holes in here where I can put rib nuts in that actually have that set inside there and have it as kind of quick release panels. Quick release meaning still got to use a drill, but you ain't got to use a wrench on the bottom. So that's my brain. That's what's in my brain. But I want to tell you all the steps next because I might be changing those steps. All right, we got to get her flipped over to the ugly side. Hopefully my marks went through. Did. Kind of hard to see them, but there's a mark that kind of goes that way. I already know my width back here is good, so we'll kind of make a point. We'll make it work. Gotta darken it up first. Then we'll get that cut out of there. All right, got it all smoothed out. Got it all rounded off. Sit nice and tight. Now what I'm thinking is I'm gonna go ahead and put the center console in. That way I know where the seats are going to go. I want them nice and tight up against the center console. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and tack the center console in, depending on how it sits. Then start getting some structure in this. So the center will be welded to that. So that's going to give it some support there in the middle. And then we'll start trying to, it doesn't have to be anything fancy on this because you ain't going to see it. But I want to go around tack holes. I don't know if I'm going to tack this in or if I'm going to bolt it in. If I tack it in, I got to make a door access over there. If I bolt it in, then this whole panel has to come out. as far as if he ever needs a battery change, and that means moving the seats. So I think the smartest thing to do is kind of make that seat over there kind of flip forward, have an access hole, and then kind of seal it up as best I can. Versus what I was talking earlier is putting some nut certs in here and then kind of bolting this panel down with a seal. I don't know. Okay, I keep going. Those are my two choices right now. I've limited it to two. I started off, I think, with, I don't know, probably 21 choices. Now I'm down to two, and that is those two. I don't know which route I'm going yet. So let me get the center console in here, and then we'll kind of just, go from there. Let's see if this even fits in there anymore. So it'll sit something like that. Huh. Now, I'm pretty certain that this sat up against that wall last time. So I wonder, something's changed. Well, obviously something has changed. I want that completely against the wall. See, like I said, things are ever changing, and I don't know why that changed. Unless just the wood was adding. Yeah, probably the wood was. Yep. Okay, cool. That's fun. Yeah. Let's figure out this problem now. All right, I think I have, well, sort of progress. Okay. So I went ahead and marked it where my seats are going to go. Can you even see that? There you go. This right here is where my seat bracket is going to go. It's just going to be some, basically, 1-inch bar. It'll slap into there. There'll be studs coming up. That's where the seat's going to mount. So I can do those independently. I can bring this to the seat, get that all kind of bolted in there, then bring this back over to here, tack it in its little hole, and then those studs will be permanently mounted to this platform. I think I'm going to weld this. Actually, no, I'm going to weld this thing all the way to the floor. There's nothing under there on this side anyways that he's going to need access to, and we're just going to make this a floor. On the other side, however, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. And what I'm going to have to do is somehow make that seat flip forward. So same concept. We're going to be welding this in. That's where I've got all these little marks. That's my spot weld holes. This area is all free space for me to bead roll and get some structure into. Now what's going to have to happen is, well, where's my... Instead of permanently mounting these, like that'll be schwacked off there. Instead of permanently mounting this to here, there will be a hinge right here where that seat is allowed to tilt forward. Now, I'm hoping it tilts far enough to where it doesn't hit here and it doesn't allow access. But if I can make a hatch out of this, I can hide the seam under here so I can cut it right down the middle here and here. So when this is closed, it seams those together. You don't see it, and it allows minimal air to come through. Still put some sound deadener and heat protection underneath there to keep that heat from coming to the seams. And then up here would be the same concept. It would just be cut here, and this panel sliced across so that can hinge and pivot. So basically, it'd be just like a U shape, 1x bar that's pivoting and moving. And then when it closes, it's hidden. So that's my idea right now. That's what I'm sticking to, and that's how it's going to work. Now, I keep going back and forth. Also, do I weld this center console in? Go ahead and tack it in, or do I put some angle brackets behind it and just bolt it to this piece? But I think in the custom world, I'm just going to go ahead and make that one solid piece. If that thing ever has to come out, it's just going to have to get cut out, because it'll fit a lot better. It'll fit nice and tight. It won't make any rattling noise. So that's where I'm at. Time to get this out. Take it over to the bench. Go ahead and get some marks drawn up for bead rolling. Let's get it rolled and then installed. All right, so the idea is to stay out of these areas that are kind of here. That's where we're plug welding everything. Stay out of this, that's where the seat is. And stay out of this area. Once again, that's where I'm plug welding. So I got this little area to work with and that square mirrored over here. Same thing. Kind of stay past this squiggle mark. That's where my center console goes in so I can make some sort of pattern. So it's going to be the simplest pattern we do. I'll just come off of it, whatever the width of this ruler is. Make some lines. Around my corner. All right, so got all the holes drilled, got all the beads kind of rolled in what I want. Now, really, if you remember me saying I want to put some sort of sound deadener and heat mat in here, that is where this is going to go. So I'm going to go ahead, apply this across the, now this is inside where the battery is, so you're not going to see any of this. And well, it should help with the noise and the heat. So if it doesn't, well, I'm just going to keep caulking it. Okay, there you have it. Went ahead and trimmed off the edges so it'll sit kind of flat inside that flange or on that flange. And then once I start welding these in, I ain't melting this up too much. I think it's gonna get a little hot, but it'll be okay. Just fine. I will tell you, pretty stout and solid now. Nice and quiet. Nice. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and plug weld all these up and start building the brackets for the seats. All right, now for the tricky part is these seat brackets. Yep, tricky. Let's see exactly what we're working on. So my thought process is I want to take this 1.5 inch strap, basically make a bracket from there to there. Either weld the stud inside of here up or weld a nut and just bolt it down. And by the looks of it, I think it's going to be easier to weld the studs up and just slap some nuts on there versus trying to put a wrench in. Yeah, just a little bit tight right there. So I'm going to get this seat turned over, get it kind of the brackets kind of where they need to be. Hey, there's where the mouse is getting all the stuff for his house. Right there. Yeah, buddy. Now I gotta get these brackets. If you look, this one is a little bit lower than this one. So get the brackets kind of at least aligned with this. Actually, that ain't even gonna matter. We'll just get this kind of squared up on here. Make some marks. Oh, look, I already made a mark. Transfer those marks to here and then weld that to the floor. That way, this will be your beef plate kind of for there. It'll kind of stretch across that, that pinched weld, the lip of the front and the back, which is pretty solid. And this will be kind of like a stringer for, yeah. Good and thick. Okay. All right, here's the idea. So there's the plate. This plate will get welded in the back and the sides to that floorboard and whatever I just built. And then there's your bolts coming through it. Once I get this kind of mocked up and put onto the bottom, I can draw a line and kind of pull the seat out while I get all this stuff welded in and kind of clearance the floor for these carriage bolts to sit nice and flat. All right, here's the idea. I got to get going. I've got some stuff I got to do this evening, so I've got to call this one a wrap for today. Not the whole video, but just for today. But as you can see under there, there's your brackets. There's the brackets. These were welded to the beef side of this main bracket here too. So there's lots of metal there. Ain't like it's just going to strip out on this 18 gauge. Welded in the back on both sides in a long strip. And well, we're just been testing out the fitment. So there's the idea. There's the plates. It's kind of sealed up now. Once we get it all kind of painted and sanded down and everything, it's going to look perfect. So anyways, I'm done for the day. Okay, I got to run. I will be back early in the morning and hopefully get the other side finished up and start figuring out what we're going to do with that bottom dash. All right, passenger side is going to be about the same as the other side, but a little bit different. So not same at all. Still going to do the straps here. This is going to get welded to the floor, both sides. However, what I had to do, if I want this to kind of hinge up, is I split it right here and I split it right there. And I'm going to allow this strapping to kind of hide that seam and kind of hopefully keep some of that air and heat coming up from underneath the seat and, you know, warming up their tush tush. So the idea is, well, let me put that back and show you. Those will be here. I'm going to put a wing nut, like a bolt coming through with a wing nut. That way, I don't think, well, the seat's slanted this way, so it does have an incline to it. So just for preventative measures, I'm going to put a bolt with a wing nut right here. That way, if they hit the brakes too hard, this seat doesn't want to go flying forward. Now, their knees, their feet, everything else should be keeping that seat back. But it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of extra safety, precautions, something. I don't know what you want to call it, but I'm doing it. Anyways. So the idea is I will hinge somewhere here, and those straps will be welded to this panel. Not this panel, because if you weld this panel, then that thing's never going to open up. And if it's on the seat correctly, this should slide forward. Now, there ain't going to be a lot of room because I'm thinking it might only go to here. So at least it's something, and they're able to access to the battery and get it slid out. At least in my head, it works. I don't know. So let me go ahead, get this panel back together, get all my marks realigned. We'll get this welded to that panel, and then figure out some sort of hinge and wing nut. All right, she's all in there. As far as the brackets are welded on there, got it clamped. Now I'm gonna set kind of bubbly up right now because, well, heat, metal, shrinkage, warpage, all kinds of stuff. Once the seat gets in there, the weight on it, and these wing nuts, that stuff will start relaxing and kind of going where it needs to go. Now, here's my idea. Hinge, okay? Put the hinge on the front there. That's where the wing nuts are going to go, and this thing should tilt. However, I've got a lip there. Well, you can't really see it. There you go, lip. So I got to get that plate onto this piece. We'll make it look all pretty and everything, not just like a regular old door hinge. So I've got to recess it, you know, whatever that lip is. So I'm going to go ahead and mark where these go, cut it out, and, you know, I make it right. So we're going to go to 5 3/8 back. Yep. You know, double check my work. 1, 2. We'll go a little bit past it. Oh, wait a minute. No, this side should be pretty dang close. Yep. 3 7/16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really hard to talk with a pen cap in your mouth. Okay, much better. So that's the width of it. That needs to get cut out. Now that's for the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it while it's in place. That way it'll cut that flange also, and then I can continue cutting that bottom piece. Yeah, buddy. Then clamp the panel, cut that line, and then cut the flange. Get it off. Get off it. Come on. A little too far, but you don't see it. Right there. Now you see it. So idea, cut this little section out, get the hinge nice and flush to it, weld the part that doesn't move on the hinge, and weld it there, and we should have a hinge that goes. At least that's the plan anyways. You know, a lot of my plans don't ever work out. So don't be surprised if I got to change this up, okay? All right, so if you're sitting there looking and thinking, well, this isn't going to work, you're right. At the moment, what I just did there is not going to work on that flange, okay? I just cut the flange out, so I have a mark and kind of a reference of where my hinge needs to go over there. If I don't cut that entire flange out, this is not going to pivot or hinge. Basically, this is setting on a flange, and this is setting on a flange. So I'm going to leave the top piece so it kind of looks like a cover, but that bottom flange definitely has to get cut all the way out on the floor. But for now, I just wanted to have that as a mark. So I'm there with you. I promise. If you're yelling at the TV going out, this ain't gonna hinge because you didn't cut it all the way out over on the floor, then you're right, 100%. Okay, but we'll get there. We will get there. Hot. All right. That'll go on the floorboard. This will go underneath, like so. Bam. So tack that in there. I might just cut that off because it's sitting around the flange. I'm a marker. Always losing markers. Oh well. I know it's just past the dots. Past the holes. See what happened is because that B-roll, that hinge is not sitting flat. I need to cut it. That's what I was just mumbling to myself. I need to cut it from basically opening that hole to that hole, and then it'll sit nice and tight. Okay, hinge is on. That's the top side. There's the other hinge, the other side. Now, oh look. Huh. The flange is completely cut off. Why aren't you cutting down all the way? Oh, heat. I got a little hole for that little carriage bolt to set in. I wonder if it's just not enough now. Well, that's got to come way forward. All right, there's the idea. All right, and drum roll, please. There's the seat. All right, no drum roll, just how about a seat? Seems to be sitting. I still got to get the wing nut in there in the back. Two of them. They'll sit a little bit tighter. Everything else seems to be going in all right. Seat's kind of squared up, and here is the idea, or was the idea, because this is what I'm going with. Now that seat can go forward, and then it will also hinge. Now, this is going to have to be locked. Come on, lock. And there you go. The idea, there it is. All seems pretty sturdy. I may have to put a beef plate there. It's sturdy enough to kind of operate. If this gets open and closed numerous times, it may weaken the, the floor pan area right there. So I may put a beef up plate in there, but I don't imagine these people opening and closing this maybe once every 2 or 3 years when they need a new battery. And if that's the case, we're good to go. So I'm going to call this portion good. As far as the seats go, I still need to put some angle iron in there and lock in the center console to here. But whatever, that's easy. You guys got the idea. All right, sign the seats off. I'll have to get some paint on the tops of this and paint this all up. But let's go ahead and start looking at what are we going to do here with the dash. But that's going to be for tomorrow. because I got to get going. Okay, I got to go. I will do this thing in the morning. All right, real quick before I get on this dash, what I want to show you is what I'm going to show you is really what it looks like, kind of a finished product for here before I put the seats in. Got this kind of painted in it's called nutmeg. It's the color they chose. Here is the seat kind of mech. The seat's going to be mounted here. It shoots forward. There is heat dampener, sound dampener, all kinds of good stuff there. The battery is still in there, and should be able to take this, lock down the seat, so that'll kind of give an added safety feature in a sense. One there and one there. Lock that down. That's going to give it nice and secure. What else? Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's not it. I did decide not to weld the center console to the actual floor because if they ever want to take this out one day, they can. So I went ahead, just basically put angle bracket on the inside of there, put some rib nuts behind there, and it's kind of just held in with some hardware there. So that's not going to go anywhere. Yep. All right. Well, unfortunately, I'm kind of in a predicament. What I mean is I got this is my second email now that the gauges have delayed in shipping or lost. We're just going to say they're delayed or backward, and they don't want to tell me they're backward. So I ain't waiting any longer. I got to get a video out, and I've also got to keep moving on with this truck. So I don't want to build that bottom dash piece yet until I get the actual ones. I went ahead and ordered some new ones. They say they're going to be here. Today is what? Sunday? They should be here Wednesday. I don't have 3 more days to wait for these. So I'm going to pause on this video, and we're going to have to end it there. So I did make some progress, though. I did get everything else kind of in there. The seats are all mounted up. The dash is together. Kind of what it looks, or dash. Center console's together. Dash is completely blown apart now. That way I can make room for the new gauges. The plan is to do a solid piece all the way up from the right to the left side. Put the speedometer with the tack combo kind of in here. Make the panel. Kind of get rid of all these just excessive holes all over the place. There was holes everywhere. There were switches. If you remember from earlier in the video, there were switches everywhere on this thing. So I got rid of all the switches except for the ones I really need. I want to fill all these holes in. Kind of give it kind of respray it maybe. I'm not sure yet. I want to move a couple of little things here and there, but I did. Now all of them switches, one operated the fuel pump, one operated the cooling fans, one was the ignition box. That one's still a heat. I'm going to put that somewhere else, probably down here with on a nicer switch. But I did make a little bit of progress. Now there's no more hidden switches, okay? No more having to turn your fans on. As you can hear, the fans are cooling down now. No more having to put the fans on. No more having to turn ignition boxes on, turning 7 different switches just to get the truck to start. So I don't know why the people before me did not just do that. It's pretty basic. Just hook everything up to ignition wire. Have everything else on a kind of a relay. The big pulling amp draw pulling parts, which are my cooling fans, my fuel pumps. That's too easy. So anyways, I'm going to end it here because I don't want to keep delaying and I want to get a video out. So anyways, don't forget, guys, to like, subscribe, and share this out. I'm about 4 right now today. I'm about 4 subscribers away from 1,800. So if you like this content, share this stuff out. If you're just, browsing through and I fell in your feed, I don't know, maybe hit that subscribe button and maybe let's get that 1,800. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys, for sticking around to the end. We'll see you next time.